First and foremost, when you read the Torah, you understand that every word is specifically placed there by HaKadosh Baruch Hu for specific reasons. Regardless of where, regardless of how, you see that every word is there and every word has literally endless meanings from it, where you, when you first see it, you think, oh, Vayikach Korach, that Korach took. What can you possibly learn from Korach took? Rabbi Ephraim Sheikhye, in his sefer, the most recent that he published, in the beginning in Parashat Bereshit, he writes that the Gaon Vilna once had a smile on his face during the prayers, and then a sad face, and then a smile. And his Talmid, Rabbi Chaim Volozhin, asked him, Kvod Rav, why did you frown and then smile? He says, because yesterday I had the Siyata Dishmaya to learn over 2,000 commentaries on a few words in the Torah, on 3 words in the Torah, in Parashat Shlach. Literally 3 words in the Torah, I learned over 2,000 commentaries on it. But then, in the morning, I didn't want to forget these commentaries, these pirushim, and I immediately, as I woke up in the morning, I started thinking about them. But since I paskin myself that you're not allowed to even think divrei Torah before you do Netilat Yadayim, even though Shulchan Aruch says that you can think divrei Torah, you just can't speak divrei Torah before you do Netilat Yadayim, I already started thinking about them, and Shamayim, they judged me and they took away all 2,000 Chidushim. Just imagine having 2,000 ideas in total. Needless to say, over 2,000 ideas on 3 words in the Torah. And all of it was taken. So I was crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu during my prayer, please give it back to me, please give it back to me. That's why I was crying. And I smiled when he gave it back to me. And I remembered all of them. Baruch Hashem. So now, you look at this Parashat Korach. You've looked at it perhaps a few times. And you say, Vayikach Korach. What can you possibly learn from Vayikach Korach? Vayikach Korach ben Yetzer, ben Kehat, ben Levi, ben Datan and Aviram, ben Bnei Eliyav, ve'on ben Pelet, Bnei Reuven. That Korach, the son of Yetzer, son of Kehat, son of Levi, took with Datan and Aviram, sons of Eliyav, and On, the son of Pelet, the offspring of Reuven. What can you possibly learn from those few things? So certainly, the Sfarim teach us that each word has a reason. Every name certainly has a reason. One of the Sfarim I saw an art scroll that has a commentary on the parasha based on the Talmud. They bring different chachamim, and we saw that. We also had a few of our own, Baruch Hashem. It says Vayikach Korach. Vayikach Korach. If you look at the Onkelos says Vayikach Korach, that Korach, the son of Yetzer, he took. What does it mean that he took? He took himself away from the community. He separated himself, says Onkelos. He separated himself. He did not consider himself as part of Am Yisrael. He decided that he's going to go his own way. He's going to learn his own way, do his own way. Yeah, but we have Matan Torah, we have Alachot, we have leaders, we have Gdolei Ador. Yeah, I understand you have all those things. I'm going to do on my own thing. That mindset that came from arrogance is the mindset of, unfortunately, of heresy. It's a mindset of disaster. And this is what started Korach already on his bad path. But what got him on his bad path? What got Korach on his bad path? So the second word in the parasha, it says that Vayikach Korach. Korach, the name itself, Chachamim say, it also spells the word Kereach. Kereach is bald. What ended up happening when HaKadosh Baruch Hu had Moshe Rabbeinu prepare the people that were going to serve in the Mishkan, he had to shave them. They had to remove all of their hair on their body. So they had to remove their hair on their head, their beard. So Korach, that now came home, Kereach, came home bald. His wife saw him, started screaming at him. Whoa, what'd you do to yourself? What are you doing? He said, no, this is part of serving Hashem. This is part of serving Hashem. I told you shouldn't go. I told you should be separated. It's just Moshe Rabbeinu making fun of you because he was jealous of your beard. He goes, no, they did it also. Nah, they're just making fun of you. And his wife, the wicked wife that he has, what she do is she warmed them up and heated them up against Korach. Heated up against Korach. Now, Korach didn't go by himself. It says that Korach had some friends. Who? Datan and Aviram, Von ben Pelet. They came with them also. Datan, what do we learn from Datan? Datan, dat. Datan is also comes from the word dat. Dat is religion. Datan is the one that wanted to go against the dat of Hashem, the religion of Hashem, just like the reformers, just like the Zionists, just like the different types of heretics that are out there that simply decide what to keep and what not to keep. He calls himself an Orthodox rabbi that's homosexual. He calls himself an Orthodox rabbi that is LGBTQAWC AIDS. He calls himself all types of things. This is Datan. Datan wanted to change the law. He didn't accept the law as it is. He wanted something new. What about his buddy Aviram? Aviram comes from the word Iber. Iber is that he made a fortification. Fortification, and in essence, fortification around his heart. He hardened his heart that even though he had all the reasons in the world to do tshuva, because he's the one that got beat up by Datan in Egypt and Moshe Rabbeinu saved him. So he had all the reasons in the world to follow Moshe. But he also didn't like to follow Moshe because Moshe told him to put on tefillin. Moshe told him to eat kosher. Moshe told him to protect his wheat. He didn't like that, so he ended up following the same people that hurt him in the past. Datan. Now on ben Pelet, that comes from onenut. In onut is a mourning. On ben Pelet initially went with Korach, but after he started realizing that his wife told him that you're making a mistake, you're going with Korach instead of just staying out of it. He realized he made a mistake. He started mourning. He started crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do tshuva, and that's in essence what saved him. And Pelet, his last name Pelet, comes from the word plaot, miracles. It's a miracle that On did tshuva, just like it's a miracle anyone today does tshuva. So here we see, Rabotai Ayekarim, that just within the first verse we learned that every single word, every single name that HaKadosh Baruch Hu instilled into the world, into this holy Torah, obviously has many, many reasons. But one of the things that many people never realize, that all of it is relevant to their life, is when they actually think about how did this all transpire. Meaning, having a heretic is one thing, but how did this heretic get everybody to follow him? Not just these Datan, Aviram, On ben Pelet, but also the 250 biggest rabbis of their day, with the exception, of course, of Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron HaKohen, Yeshua ben Nun, Caleb ben Yefuneh, and a few others. But he had 250 leaders that Moshe Rabbeinu himself put in leadership. How did Korach do it? Says the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, Korach was very rich. Korach was very rich, and that's where it says Vayikach Korach, that Korach took. What does it took? Took also means bought. Korach took all ownership of all of these people because he gave all of them money. And in essence, he bought their opinions. He bought their minds. He bought their lives. Because he had so much money, he bought all of these rabbis, which of course is very relevant to the world today, where many times you go to a synagogue, 20 years you see people are driving to the synagogue, 20 years people are talking during tefillah, 20 years people are going against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and sometimes the rabbi doesn't say a single word. Why? Vayikach Korach. Korach bought him. Korach bought the rabbi. He doesn't want to say a single thing. Or sometimes he's a good rabbi, but he's afraid that the Reshaim that are running the shul, that are the board of directors, are going to fire him. So he says it's no use. Which again, if you're in a position like that, you have to leave the synagogue altogether. Why stay in the shul if you can't say what you have to say? But of course, it's a very big test. But nonetheless, a person needs to know that if you were bought because of money, you have to find yourself a different job. You have to find yourself a different job. I heard a story from a rabbi once that had an issue with somebody in his community, and he went to a different rabbi and asked him, what does he think? He's like, oh, you're concerned about saying the truth? He's like, yeah, a little bit. He says, yo, you want people to like you? He's like, yeah, I do want people to like me. He says, okay, so you should quit being a rabbi and go sell ice cream. Go sell ice cream. If you want to be a rabbi, you have to tell people the truth. You have to go tell people the truth. You can't just say what's going to make them like you. And unfortunately, Rabotai, what ended up happening is that Korach knew exactly the price, the number everybody had on their head. And that's in essence what brought all of this disaster.